Okay, here we go. I'm on Zoom now, and this is going to be super basic. All right. Um, Number one, you can high end this little rectangle here. We can move this all around as we're talking. We can make it bigger. We can make it smaller. Whatever. So that's all window dressing for now. What you'll see is this is a basic setup. All right. I have the original sound for musicians on, which is critical because otherwise noise canceling will prohibit you from hearing the piano. I ended up I have two cameras. They were on Amazon. They're cheap. They're like 40 bucks each. Again, higher end, you can get better resolution. I have morning sun behind me, which is interfering with the video quality here, but again, I'm not worried about that for now. I would worry about that if we were doing something formal. So what you can see obviously is that I have MuseScore pulled up, and I'm giving you an example. So let's pretend that you're working with a student on uh, our nice song here. We have multiple options that are not available to you. First off, you're recording your lesson, and the lesson then can be replayed by the student. Number two, MuseScore allows so much versatility. It has a library bank of free music that is incredible, uh, both popular and classical. This came off of MuseScore, for example. Um, and what it also allows the student to do without the teacher being around is to play the song. And this is free software, by the way. So any student can have access to this. But as you just heard, as I touched middle C, or maybe you didn't because I have my volume down, but as I touched middle C here with my cursor, it's live. And let me just see if I can, I'm using my zoom in uh, radar here, okay? So what the student can also do is play the song virtually through the music player to get a general idea. Now it is stilted. It's not going to give any of the passion, personalization that a human play would do. But again, there's so many good things here. That's just an example. The other nice part is that you're going to be able to make notations. You can actually now edit this, all right? So we can go into text. I could go down to choose something like where it's expression, and expression text could come in. As you can see, it's here in the first measure. And you can type notations to the student just like you would handwrite on it. They can also do that to the extent that they need to, um, uh, make themselves a little bit of cheat notes. The other thing is you can make it harder or easier. In other words, not going to save these changes, but for example, if I wanted to go to octaves here, I can go to active writing, okay, and basically I've just touched it with the keyboard. Oh, you want to see that? You didn't see that? Oh, so sorry. Give me 1 second. And what I'm going to do is change my video. And I could have done that more seamlessly. I'm just bad. But now my camera angle, I didn't move it. I have two set up, and I'll take a picture of that for you later. But you could actually see the hand positions. And again, I just rough in this for the purpose of this. We can zoom in um, as well. If I can do it relatively quickly, if not, I'll do it on another one that I'll queue up. In fact, what I'll do, okay, we're back. I'm going to try to get to show you just a little bit about a little other features of MuseScore without getting into it. There is so much that would assist you. But you can also start with a new score. So here I've pick the grand staff, and I can also go on. We're going to keep it simple. It defaults to C and it defaults to 4/4 and this tempo. So let's just assume that you could type it in as lesson 1, for example, and there's no copyright or whatever else, but let's just get to that. All right, so now we have lesson 1 pulled up, and the beauty of this is that as I am touching the keyboard, I'm going to press middle C for a moment. I am so sorry, I have to put my writer on. I can listen in this mode, and if you see as I come over here to this pencil right over here, top left, I'm circling it for you. If I activate that, the default is quarter notes. But you can change the note value, and that becomes critical. So first you can design your own theory lesson or a edited piece for a student, but then it's as easy as I'm pressing the note. I'm going up higher now, just so you might be able to see my fingers on the actual keyboard, and it's populated. I find this as an adult learner great, because if I'm listening to something on YouTube and trying to recreate it, I notice that my ability to count rhythm, as a person that's only played piano with themselves and not a band or orchestra or anything like that, my idea of counting and tempo is terrible. And this forces me at times to understand note value, and I think it has value, no pun intended, to the student. I'll show you on another example. So that's the beauty of this notation device, and it can be used in several different ways. I'm going to try to get out of that and give me one moment. All right, now I'm into my page turner. I showed you that I have a foot pedal, the Air Duro. You can use this. Obviously, it integrates with your iPad as well. So your iPad would be up on your where your music stand would be, and by touching the left and right pedal, I can change through without having to use my hands, which is handy. Again, no pun intended. Now, for yours truly, I'm a cheater, and what happens is I'm trying to remind myself as I'm getting back into practice where the chord changes are. And so what you've seen is I've taken something that was free online, and I started an exercise for myself where I'm writing myself notations as a chord change or change in notes, and I've just randomly selected the red as I'm going lower on the bass clef, and then green as I'm coming back up. I believe there's one or two, yes. Like for example here. Now I know that's horrific, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend that to a true student, but what I'm just trying to give you an example is you can use colors, as I showed you the text notations. Let's say your student's having trouble with fingering, you can put it in nice and neatly instead of little pencil marks in their notebook or music pad or whatever. So it just adds that caliber of professional skill. This, you can build a music library for the songs that you like, and there's my Bruce Springsteen. I cheat to remind myself where I'm starting. Those are hard, rough notes, but this is a great way to then save. Once you've done your music writer or you've found something on the internet, you can save it and consolidate. This again, this one actually might have been like something like $30, but very, very handy. All right, we're going to jump over to virtual instruments, which now everything I've told you right now is something that, let me just see if you can see my smiling face. Hold on one sec. Switching cameras. Everything I've talked about so far can be done with a camera or two, use of Zoom. There's other ones out there, but Zoom again is free. So I'm trying to show you what you can do for little to no money. Um, and then what I'd like to do is put in a pitch about the virtual instruments and why that helps. And then also talk to you a little bit about some other equipment that you might consider going down the road. And we'll do that on my next installment. All right, we're going to quickly talk about virtual instruments, again with the eye on the fact that if a student has a digital piano, if you're starting to lose them, and sometimes you get to students that they're very good in their second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, they start to hit that middle school years, and you're getting depressed because you spent a lot of time and effort with them, and suddenly you're not holding their interest. So this adds something. Plus, adult pianists may want to have different voices to experiment with, particularly if their ear is starting to tell them, hey, I want to play this song like this or like that. So the Yamaha, for example, comes with only a few piano voices. So I bought some more high-end voices for that through a company called Complete Control. I've also, there's a free one called Sample Tank, and I'm just going to show you them quickly. So give me one moment. So Complete Control has phenomenal, I'm just going to touch on the basics. I wanted to have some old school piano sound that kind of felt like that 100-year-old piano that I was playing in college. This is not it. I've dialed them in, and you can see the different variations down there, but this is their basic Maverick, which is a model of a much older piano. Has that very soft touch, muted almost feel and sound. Their grandeur is going to be more of your concert piano. So the bottom line is it allows somebody to really dial in the piano voices if they want. A more realistic one and a free one at the beginning, they get you addicted and then you want more voices, is something called Sample Tank. As you'll see, I can load multiple instruments and track and record. So that's a whole nother level of interest when you get a student that starts to display interest in music that might be beyond their piano skills that you want to foster as well. You can see the virtual keyboard at the bottom, so that as you're playing, you're actually populating as well.